Hi, this is Tom Burkett with the Songbird Live. We're in another episode of Songbird Sessions. And today we are with Dr. John Korake, who was going to be our conductor for the Bells of Christmas Day. And so, welcome, Dr. Korake. And anyway, we are anxious to get to talk to you about this upcoming project. And thank you for being with us.
It's a joy to be with you, Tom. Great to see you again. And I can't tell you how excited I am to be a part of this wonderful event coming up in
Well,
December.
well, thanks. I wanted to tell everybody how our relationship first started. Actually, John and I actually go back a whole bunch of years. I have no idea how long. But John used to play trumpet in my brass quintet. We actually had a very successful brass quintet that toured a fair amount. And anyway, John played hundreds of concerts with me back in the day. And then he got his college teaching job, and then he would fly out and do a lot of our pretty important concerts for us. And so we have just maintained this relationship ever since. But actually, how you and I first met, John, was we had somebody had one of those accidents or something, and we had to get a replacement real quick. And Todd knew you. And so he says, "Man, don't call anybody. I've got the perfect guy." And you've been with us off and on ever since. So that was a great start. And like I say, we did many concerts together. Just some of the cherished memories that I have with that brass quintet were with you, John.
Well, Tom, and the same goes both ways. I often am asked about my influences in life, and I always attribute my experiences with the Bluebonnet Brass as perhaps the most pivotal thing in helping me learn to deal with audiences, how to communicate with audiences, how to feel at ease in front of people. And it's those hundreds of performances, one after the other,
Yeah.
and you just learn to do that. And thank you for the opportunity to be a part of that. I think we go back to the early 1980s by my math, which makes us,
I guess so.
that's 40 some years ago we first started
Wow.
doing this. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah, we
That's
both had
amazing.
single hair colors. Now we're
Yeah.
two colors.
Well, mine's a little lighter than it used to be.
Well, it is. It sort of looks like Jimmy Johnson's a little bit, I'm noticing here.
Well, some people call it Tom. What is it? Conway Twitty.
There you go.
Look, but anyway, I like Jimmy Johnson better. Anyway, well, John, let's get started with this. Talking about this concert, I am so excited about this concert. As you know, this concert came about kind of strange. I had way back when I was having a conversation with Rob Vono, and I had mentioned that we were going to do a Christmas concert, or was thinking about it, and might even have a little bit of an orchestra. And so he said, "Hey, can I write something for you?" And I thought, well, that'd be wonderful. I was thinking a 3 minute, 5 minute piece, something like that. He called back about a month later and he said, "Hey, I've got it all sketched out. It's about 80 minutes." Which I was just dumbfounded because my goodness, that's such a commitment, such a huge effort. And anyway, it turns out that he wrote something really wonderful for us. So I'm really looking forward to what we're going to do.
Well, as am I. These arrangements are just outstanding in every way. They take traditional Christmas pieces and some that you may not be familiar with as well, and cast them in a very fresh and exciting manner. Like you, I'm looking forward to this and sharing this music with your audiences and the community too, because this is a gift to the city of Cleburne.
It really is a gift to Cleburne, the city of Cleburne, and to the Songbird. And so it's a real honor. I mean, that much work. I'm just humbled, beyond belief that he would do that for us.
Yeah.
And so it's really a thrill for this to all come to fruition.
And not only is he providing this music, but he's providing his performance talents on the job too.
Yes, he is. He's going to be there to play the second piano part, which does a lot of the things that, with a small 16-piece orchestra like we couldn't have chimes and things like that, and he's there to provide those sounds as well as actual piano parts.
Yeah, and just Rob is just a special person that is so multifaceted and equally talented, both in front of an instrument or behind an instrument, as the case may be, and behind a score and writing just tremendous music. And so I think your audience is in for a great treat to get to meet him and to hear these wonderful compositions that stem from his pen.
Yeah, I think it's really gonna be very unique. Uh, something, that everybody knows these Christmas tunes. That's one of the wonderful part about that is they're familiar, yet they're new. And so,
Absolutely, that's right. This is a very fresh take on these songs, and you're going to have a very um, two-part or two-faced, if you will, experience. One, yes, this is the Christmas music I've come to love over these many decades, and but wow, this is new. I didn't think this new life could be breathed into these arrangements that I've
yeah,
probably or these songs that I've heard for probably hundreds of times in my life, and to come away thinking, there still is something that can be gleaned and from this music, and this music still has something to offer that's new and fresh and exciting.
right. Well, and I think that's part of the brilliance of Rob is he can do a really fresh take uh, of the songs that we already know. So many times, arrangers, composers will, I mean, it's kind of the more of the same kind of thing, and this is quite a bit different.
Yeah, it is. I mean, you're going to hear a traditional waltz from the Nutcracker, but then at the same time, you're gonna hear a Latin dance in the form
Yeah,
of a mambo or a montuna or something along that line that is going to just cause you to reflect on this music in a different sort of way. And
yeah.
I'm really anxious for the day to get here to
Mhm.
share in that experience because it's gonna be as exciting for me as it will be for the members in the audience.
Now, John, one of the things that we like to do and where we want to go with this podcast, we don't want to be like a symposium or anything like that. We don't want, don't put your professor hat on. But on the other hand, we want for people to enjoy it on a deeper level, because this is a listening room where people have 100% of their attention on the music. So I was wondering if you might give us just a couple of pointers, things to listen to, where we have the ability to listen to the whole thing, or we can also listen in layers. And for sure, that's what musicians do.
I think, Tom, I understand what you're saying, and I would say for the people out there, think of this performance as a kaleidoscope of colors. And as we go through the performance, you're going to be rotating that kaleidoscope, or it'll be rotated for you in this case, and you're going to see new images emerge out of the current image. And those colors are going to come in two ways through timbres, which is just the colors of the sound qualities of the instruments, and then the arrangements themselves, the stylistic qualities to the music, the harmonies that Rob uses are going to be a bit more extended than the traditional chords that accompany these tunes. So you're going to get both harmonic color, if you will, and you're going to get timbral color. So just think kaleidoscopically and just allow the chords and the colors to affect you as it will, and it will affect us all differently. But I think if you grab a hold of those two things and just kind of follow along with the familiarity of some of these melodies, I think you'll really appreciate the music at a level that I think will be very rewarding for you.
Well, that's what I believe. I think it's in a lot of ways what's going to happen is very similar to the song Bolero, where you have the melody and it's repeated numerous times. That famous tune by Maurice Ravel. And anyway, you hear the melody, but every time it's a different color.
That's exactly
Yeah,
right. As
is
different instrumental families come into play, and
exactly.
of course, the constant throughout that is right the snare
Right.
drum. And there's gonna be no constant in this concert, where so there's gonna be even more variety in that sense, but that evolution is going to come not just through the color changes like Ravel and that beautiful score, using that same melody over and over again, but it's gonna come through the evolution of the styles that accompany
Right.
pieces and the creative, voicing. That's just the way the instruments combine to
Mhm.
create new colors of sound, and though it is a small orchestra, much smaller than what Ravel wrote for in Bolero, you have all the families represented, plus you have the benefit of a couple electronic instruments that can create an even more expanded palette, like through synthesized sounds or sampled sounds, like a chime, for example. But we're going to have the string family represented. We have a rhythm section, a kind of a jazz rhythm section, if you will, with two pianos, one a more traditional part, another one more part of the rhythm section. We've got a small woodwind and a small brass family as well. And he's going to masterfully blend those various instrumental groups in ways that will be quite refreshing.
Right. Now, I wanna warn people, let's not scare you away because no matter what level that you're listening at, you're still gonna love these songs. Uh, but as you can listen to more layers, I guess, and the more you get, it's a lot like climbing a multi-story building. The higher you get in that building, the better the view is. And so what once again, I'm hoping that you come and you listen to it at whatever level comes to you, but it's just so much there to enjoy.
That's right.
That's the way I look at it.
And you don't need to have any formal music training to appreciate this
Now,
music. You can listen just to the melody if you want, and you'll realize that, hey, there's something going on different underneath the melody, and that's fine. But if you want to challenge yourself and add in a few ingredients, go for it. Just like cooking a gourmet meal. A steak is great with salt and pepper, but then you start adding some other things in, and it can be different and equally as good. And so, whatever your seasonings, if you will, musical seasonings, you're
exactly.
going to, I think, have a very nice musical meal at this concert.
Right, exactly. Now, this performance, I think for you will be interesting because your son is gonna be in the orchestra. Is that an extra treat for you?
That absolutely is. My son is currently a graduate student at TCU, which is a school you're very familiar with, Tom. And
Yes, I am.
go Frogs, right? For
Go
you
Frogs.
fans. And Brendan is just a wonderful trumpet player. He did his undergraduate degree at the University or Illinois State University, and is now working on a degree in wind band conducting at TCU. Suspect at some point he'll probably uh, get a position in Texas and end up living in Texas as a middle school, perhaps a high school band director, which is something
Mhm.
I did from
Right,
1985 to 1992 at Louisville High School, just up the road from Cleburne.
exactly. But I bet that your son Brendan is gonna be very similar to you, John, in that because the depth of what you did was so wonderful, opportunities just kept coming your way, and I suspect that's his future as well because he's
Well,
a
Brennan is a hard worker, and I help him when he asks, but he's very independent.
right.
And most everything that he's accomplished in music has been done on his own, maybe a
Mhm.
little guidance here and there from myself or my wife, who's also in the music education. She's a very fine middle school band
Yes,
director here in the St. Louis area.
right. She's also from TCU, isn't she?
She has her master's degree
Yeah,
from
yeah,
Texas Christian
that's right.
University, and I think I believe she's gonna come to one of these performances
Yay.
and check it out, so it'll be, fun to have 75% of our family there.
Yeah, we can just get your daughter down here.
I think she would enjoy it, but she's so busy. She's learning to become a dentist and is in her second
Good.
year of dental school at the University of Missouri in Kansas City, Missouri. And,
Well, well, good. Tell her I've got something I need her to work on when she
okay,
gets here.
well, she actually needs patience as a dental student. So if you're willing to get up to Kansas City, I'm sure she'd be happy to drill on you.
Yeah. That's funny. All right, John, tell us. Let's go back to the music here. Tell us a little bit about this performance. I know you talked about it's going through a lot of different styles and stuff. Is this still going to have that Christmas spirit to it?
Absolutely. You're going to be very energized and ready for the holiday season after you hear this concert, but it's going to perhaps reach you at different levels in addition to what you're used to, and it's going to be a very not just a an experience that gets you ready for Christmas, right? But
Hmm.
it's also an equally impactful musical experience, regardless of whether these melodies are rooted in Christmas or winter themes. I mean, you can substitute any melodies from any time of the year, and you're going to get a lot out of this particular concert because the music is at such a high level. The compositions are very solid, well crafted, technically and musically at the highest levels, and perhaps different than anything you've experienced before, especially this time of the year.
Yeah. Now, what does the sound of bells? What does that represent to you personally?
Well, when I think of the sound of bells, it sort of evokes an image for me, and a specific one at that, actually. Jennifer and I, many years ago, we traveled to Vienna, Austria, and we were there Christmas Eve, as it turned out, and suffering the effects of jet lag. So here we were asleep, going to sleep in, late afternoon or something. And then we wake to these bells at midnight on Christmas. And
Huh?
we look out the window and snow is coming down, and you could see all these beautiful structures and cathedrals and churches throughout Vienna. And it was just like a quintessential Christmas postcard. So
Wow.
when I think of the bells of Christmas, that's kind of my image of it. And what I think is so great about music, Tom, is that music speaks to all of us differently, maybe
Yes.
just as impactfully, but in a different manner. And so to me, it's a feeling of nostalgia and what it might evoke to you, perhaps a childhood memory of Christmas time, waiting by the window, looking for the sleigh to come by. And
Yeah.
I seem to remember Christmas Eve my youth as the longest day of the year, just waiting from bedtime to the next
Yeah.
morning. It seemed to go
Exactly.
on for like 2 months, right?
Right.
And perhaps that meaning might have for some of you folks out there, it might mean that. Who knows? But we're all gonna be impacted in a way that's very special.
Well, it's funny because music has a way of tapping into your memories, and it's almost like a video clip of of a particular moment in your past. Have you
Absolutely.
ever had that experience?
Oh my gosh, yeah, when we hear certain memories or certain music, certain melodies, if you will, it can take us back in an instant to a different part of our lives. And that's why music therapy is a very uh, great way of reaching people who maybe through traditional forms of therapy and rehab are just not able to evoke those memories. So music, it has a way of opening some doors that
Right.
may have been locked for many
Mhm.
years.
Yeah. So the people who attend here is it's going to be such a blessing to you. First of all, once again, this was written especially for Cleburne and for the Songbird, and so we're just hoping to really enrich your life a little bit. Music has become kind of the wallpaper of our life, so to speak, and that's really not in a good way. We get so bombarded with music and a lot of it is just trash music. They electronically, you tap in, hey, do 5 seconds or 8 bars or something like that, and it's not even written by a musician. It's just AI generated, or somebody who really hasn't put much thought into it. And so this is really written by somebody who's very, very skilled, and he specifically got these melodies, uh, to evoke Christmas in your mind, so to speak. And he does it really artfully. So, I mean, I'm fully expecting that everybody will really enjoy this, not just look at it as, hey, here's an hour and a half's worth of music, but to be something special. That's my hope.
Yeah, and I would be surprised if it's not that because even just looking at the scores and the MIDI files, the electronic performances, if you will, they are telling me already that this music is going to be really special, and I think it's going to make a deep connection with your audience. Out there in Cleburne, I've had the opportunity to perform at Songbird Live some years ago, and I was just taken by how sincere and kind-hearted the people are and how much they appreciated music of all types. As I look at your promotions for the various performances there, you have an incredibly wide range of performers, right? And I'm always impressed by how open the people of Cleburne are to trying new things and exposing themselves to new types of music. This here is something very familiar, so it's an easy concert to go to. You're not going to be challenged, but if you want to be and trying to listen, like we talked about on these different levels, you certainly can be. So it could be whatever you want, and it's certainly a good one to come to.
Yeah. And it'll be fun. I guarantee it.
For
Yeah.
sure. If I'm there, it will be because I only do this because it brings me joy and it's a fun activity. I take it quite seriously, but if it doesn't meet those 2 requirements, I don't do it.
Sure. I understand. Now, John, talk to me a bit. I know that you play in, or I used to play in a brass band. Talk to me about the value of like a community-ish organization like this, um,
Are
and
you
the
talking about
value of music.
like a community like we talking about Songbird Live or the music on
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Yeah. The Songbird Live.
okay. So to me, there's any number of benefits. It's certainly a point of pride for a community to have cultural excellence. And so many communities don't have that. They don't have live music. That you have to go 30 minutes to 3 hours to experience it. It's also, besides a point of pride, it identifies a community. It's something that brings recognition to the community. First, the performers that perform there, and then the reputation as it gets out. And so it's something that helps to bring people to the community and bring attention to the community, which, as you know, as the businessman side of you, that's always a good thing. It's good for home values, it's good for real
Sure.
estate values.
Just quality of life.
Yeah, a quality of life, establishing while still acknowledging the past. It brings new traditions to community because we can't just mark time in any facet of our lives, and that's true for communities too. We can't always have it just like it's always been, because if we don't evolve, things stagnate and they usually go for the worse. So while recognizing the history and the culture of Cleburne, and you're reinvigorating with new things that downtown area with Songbird Live and other business adventures. Um, and I think that is really important for a community. And it's obvious you guys aren't marking time in Cleburne, and that's
Well, we're trying not to.
because of you, the drum major here.
Well, we are so excited about you being here, and the excellence that you will bring to what we're doing. I've known you, as we talked about, for I guess 45 years. Doesn't seem like that long, but I know that everything that you do is excellent. you're just amazing at that. And so what you will bring to this performance will be nothing less than excellent.
Thank you. Tom, well, I want to, in case the people are doubting it was that long ago, I want to show something. Do you mind if I get it real quick?
Sure.
All right.
Yeah.
Hopefully, you guys can see this. But yes,
Yeah.
we did have darker hair at one point in our lives. And this was one of the original, well, this actually was the original group I played with maybe one exception. Like we have Roman
Yeah.
there.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. What a great memory that is. That was such a wonderful group. We played at Texas Music Educators big conference in San Antonio. That was a big thing. And we actually toured in Japan. We played in the West Coast, East Coast, Midwest. It was that was just a special time,
It sure was.
and was just my honor to be a part of that. And you know, your friendship and your musicianship, it was really special,
Thank you.
and I thank you very much for that. John, thank you for doing this interview, and thank you for coming to Cleburne and to really pull this great show off. And we'll do everything we can to make it work for you. I want to encourage everybody to buy tickets. We have a performance on Saturday the 13th, which, by the way, is my birthday. Hey, and then we have Sunday at 3 o'clock, the 14th of December. And so, you know, if you don't like getting out at night, we have a matinee show for you. Anyway, once again, think it'll be really fun, and very, very proud of it, and very proud to work with you, Dr. Korake.
Mhm.
And anyway, I guess we're going to sign off our for Songbird Sessions now. And so long, everybody.
Goodbye, folks.